What's up, guys? Back with the same rope test. Pretty much the exact same setup. I went to Lowe's and bought more rope. They don't have 1/4 inch by itself, so what I have to do is buy 3/4 inch and unbraid it. I also bought this 3/16 nylon rope. It's really easy to cut when it's sharp, but I think it'll be a good test when I'm done to see how well it slices through that. So it just adds another element to the test. Again, I want to repeat that this is nothing scientific. These tests are not, they're not scientific. They're not meant to prove anything. I've just always found myself watching people's tests and they're all scientific and they have rubrics for the scoring and everything. And I never really walked away from watching a video like that thinking I had a better grasp on how the steel would actually perform in real life. So that's what I'm trying to give you, is an idea of how each steel will perform in day-to-day tasks in real life, and not just a score sheet with a rubric that ranks steels in a category. That every test is valuable to me. Every little bit of knowledge we can gain about these steels is great, but I think that the knife community lacks like practical tests and practical knowledge. So today I'm going to be testing the zero tolerance 551, and this is an ELMAX steel. I have a 36-degree inclusive edge that is polished on the 6,000 grit Japanese waterstone, and then stropped on my strop from Knives Plus. It is ELMAX. I'm curious to see how this steel performs. I have no clue. I have no preconceived notions. I have no clue how it's going to perform. So this is going to be a learning experience for me also. Get you in focus, and I think that's about right. Let me zoom in actually and see if that's in focus. I think it is. We're good to go. Alright, well, I'm just going to get to it. Again, I have phone book paper here to test on for that nice razor edge, and then I have just regular printer paper to test for the toothy edge. From what I've heard, ELMAX holds its razor edge for a little bit longer than other steels, so that'll be a nice treat if it does, because I do like this knife. I think I like the steel. So far I like it, but I've never really put it through its paces. Can already tell that it's not slicing nearly as well as the Spydercos have, but it is a thicker blade stock. It takes much more effort to get through this rope, a lot of effort. So I always like to test after the first few cuts. Wow, still extremely sharp, still push cutting sharp. That jimping on the top of this blade is very rough. It was hurting my thumb, so that's something I wasn't expecting. This is extremely tough. Very tough stuff. I did a lot of cutting yesterday. I think somewhere close to like 600 cuts, so my hand's a little sore today. Hopefully that doesn't affect my performance. I have to make sure I'm keeping this area clean. I'm going to go ahead and test again. Still definitely razor's edge. Still very good. So we're going to go ahead and continue. I don't know if you noticed, but I can't actually get through this in one slice. Very comfortable knife, but the amount of pressure I have to exert to cut that rope is uncomfortable. Still a razor's edge. And I am using about that much of the blade instead of just using the tip. So it should perform pretty well. If you watched my video about the tilt, I did say that I'm going to find a way to test that knife, but I'm not sure that test will be a good way to compare the tilt to these knives, because the test will have to be completely different. So therefore you can't really compare the results. I would just have to test the tilt on its own merit. Go ahead and test again. Got a little catch in there, but it's still slicing. Still easily slicing till it gets to that one catch. It's got a few little catches in there. Let me feel the edge. Yeah, I can definitely feel some rolls or chips right around there. Not exactly sure what they are. I need Waco and his microscope. So that's the first roughly 3 feet down. There we go. That was a good slice. I don't know if y'all can tell on camera, but it has taken me a good bit of force to get through this. I'm going to try a push cut. Did it extremely well. A lot of people were asking, since the tilt couldn't push cut this rope, they were asking if any steel could do it, and I always do a few push cuts in my tests just to show it, and I'll do it again. I don't know if you can hear it, it went right through it. And that's a point I want to make. This is a thick blade. This has got some seriously thick stock, about as thick as my Strider, and I just push cut this rope with really minimal force. I mean, I was bowing down with my whole body weight on the tilt, and it wouldn't even start to cut. So there's something funky going on with that knife. And before anyone asks, it is sharp. I feel like I need to go ahead and test again. I feel like we have completely lost our razor edge. It is no longer phone book paper slicing sharp. And that's surprising with the stock as thick as it is. I figured having all that material backing up the edge would make this perform extremely well. I would say so far it's right around M4 I dare say S30V was sharper at this point. I know that's definitely going to be the source of contention for people because ELMAX is supposed to be a really awesome steel. Let me make sure you guys are in focus again. Sorry, I'm going to make you hear that. But I don't want y'all to be watching some out of focus garbage. That's really surprising that S30V at this point is sharper, or was sharper, than this ELMAX. I really didn't expect that. And this is what I like, because a lot of the tests that I've seen puts ELMAX way above S30V, and I've always been one of those guys that didn't think S30V got the respect it deserves, and my test is kind of showing that. S30V definitely held its razor edge longer than this. I'm going to test it again. It's not going to get through it. It's just not that sharp. Not sharp enough to do that, at least. It will, however, push cut this printer paper. And I am push cutting with a portion that I have been using. So it is sharp enough to do that, at least. And I would call that a toothy working edge. This is really surprising, actually. I didn't expect these results at all. And I'm even using a little bit more of the blade than I normally am. I'm starting way back here to start my slice. My hands are getting tired. I'm going to have to take a break after this. I don't think I could do any more tests after this for a couple days. All you guys who think I'm being a pussy or something, y'all need to go get some of this rope and try it out. It's some seriously tough stuff. Let me make sure you're in focus. Which I think you are. I do want to say, even though it's dulled, like all the other steels, I pretty much feel no appreciable difference in cutting. That could be because it's a gradual loss in sharpness, and there's no sharp, I guess sharp isn't the right word, there's no abrupt change in sharpness. So it's kind of like watching hair grow. If you see a person every day, you don't really notice how long their hair has gotten, as you would if you didn't see them for a month and saw their hair grow. Came close to cutting myself there. This is the first test I've been ready to be done with. This is extremely difficult. Still very sharp. Definitely sharp enough to cut printer paper. And it is push cutting. Well, actually it will not push cut. Slicing is fine, but an actual push cut, it binds too much. So I have like 5 inches of rope left. I'm just going to polish that off. Okay, let me chunk this. And just for kicks, I want to see how well it slices this thin rope right here. Oh, that's not even a challenge. It's getting through this stuff with ease. Let me try a push cut. This is no issue. This is nylon rope, 3/16. It's not very thick, and definitely not difficult to get through. I wanted to do this to demonstrate that even after the end of these tests, after the knife has dulled, it will still work. It's still plenty sharp enough to do these EDC type tasks. So we're going to test the sharpness just for kicks. I'll grab phone book paper. Absolutely will not cut it. Printer paper. It will slice, but it will not push cut. So in the interest of being unbiased and fair, I'm going to go ahead and say that this steel probably is the worst as far as edge retention goes. As far as the ones that I've tested, this steel has definitely performed under. I've tested CTS 20CP, S90V, S30V, and this has to be the lowest performer yet. So S30V outperforms ELMAX in my tests, which is very surprising, especially given that ELMAX is considered a super steel. So, thanks for watching, guys. That was a tough one. Drop me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.